bring, they're already developed, right? You nurture them, we'll have after-school sessions with them, with people that are in the artistic arena. Right? Train them, engage them, have a conversation with the kids. Okay? So that's a therapy that we are going to promote within the society. So we start with Rockland as a pilot, then we push the entire district. So by the time 2 years from now, we probably have covered more than at least 50% of the townships. So our intention is the township, not here. This is too metro. We're going to where the masses are. Right? And then in Rockland, there are 2 schools. There's a high school and a primary school. So that's where we're going to cover. So this gentleman here, the 2 with the cameras, there are only three of them. Myself and them, and then we have it's a volunteer arrangement. So you come there, you volunteer. There's no stipends. Your stipends will come with time, because you're going to attract money. But for now, we have to build something. And that's the approach we're taking. This is the second one. So this is why we are here. So we proved that instead of just talking about production, about seal, high-lapid, and all that, PACOFS should be the center of promoting jazz. So anything jazz, it will come from here with your partnership. That's what's going to happen. So if you want to, we are being advised even by sponsors to say that if you want to promote jazz, you must do it at PACOFS. If you don't want to promote jazz, go and do it at Ghana. You know why? Because remember, Ghana is associated with something, you know, the perception. So if it is at PACOFS, it doesn't mean that you as an individual, you shouldn't go in. But when you partner with us, it must be at PACOFS. You'll probably have an opportunity now even to do it in the garden on the fence. Okay. So the reason was first for this session to take place, and then in the discussion you need to ask yourself, are we really just musicians for the sake of musicians, or are we actually reflecting on what Abdullah Ibrahim is doing with his M7 Academy? Those are the questions that we need to. And then you must build a pipeline. So there must be a stage, as we speak now, on our own assessment. You guys are all going different directions. And that's a fact. You're all going different directions. This one wants to showcase his work, this one wants to showcase his work. So I said to Victor, I said, look, everyone can still continue to showcase their work. It's not a problem. But you need to build a pipeline. Right? Because they won't be safe 20 years from now. No. So you need to build a pipeline. We have an educator in the room, right? A pianist, right? So when you talk about pipeline, we need to take advantage of the gentleman who's going to assist us to get there, right? So we need to create a core, but specifically for jazz. That's number one. Now, if you want to play jazz for the sake of entertainment, you're not going to make money. And you're going to die a pauper, right? You won't even have insurance coverage in terms of burying, right? And you know those cases. You know that, right? So when you commercialize it, it means that you must be having some business acumen in your own work. So you can't just approach jazz just as a musician without having a business mind to you. So you have to approach jazz from a particular angle. And of course, once we have had the conversation, we'll start talking about how we can approach either Standard Bank for now as a group, or Standard Bank individually. Okay? There's always weight when you approach Standard Bank as a group than as individual. It carries more weight. But then you don't want Standard Bank to look at this one separately from them. But if you go as a cohort, it's got more weight compared to if you go individually. And then, yes, so you are going to be the main sponsor. Come the first week of September, we're going to have a jazz festival in Mama, a replica of Joy of Jazz. That's what's going to happen. By hook or crook, it's going to happen. And we are now looking at you to start assisting us in terms of the foundational issues, but that's where we're going. And everyone who's an artist here will participate profile everyone. Okay? So that's where we are going. It's one of our flagship in terms of public engagement. Over to you. It's your turn now.
Before I start, I'd like to thank PACOFS for inviting us here. And after a very long time that we find ourselves sitting like this together as jazz artists, is very important, and we like to thank PACOFS for that. To start our discussion today, you can see my first note there. I bring together Free State Jazz community, collaborate and support artists in the region by doing road shows. Why that? We as jazz artists in the Free State, we are scattered, one. Two, we are not visible in terms of our artwork. We don't publish our music, our products. Hence, we are not seen. We don't do events for ourselves. So, yeah, and that's the reason why we find ourselves a little more high, and your next door neighbor doesn't know that you are even an artist. So, I think those are the things that we should put focus on as for how, as jazz artists, can we come together and assist each other for us to be visible. Nah? And like the CEO was saying, when we do things collectively, it's easy to penetrate either the market or the community. So I'll make a typical example about the new artists, Themba Dlamini. They feature each other in, like most all of them, they feature each other in their projects. Why? Because if I feature you as data and you are already, your music is already rotating, it means I'm tapping into your market, I'm tapping into your audience. You know, so that builds my audience as well. So I think we should start there by doing collaborations ourselves and also doing the events, even here in PACOFS. If maybe we come, like Sitle did 2 months ago, they did an event and then he invited me. That's how we should grow, because your audience can be mine. And I remember, audience is not just a person who comes to listen to your music, but that's where your money is. So how do we get to get our community listening and understanding our music, and how do we reach them, like in simple terms, or understand the difference here between Jimmy Lulu and Victor Club, you know? It's very simple. Marketing. I know marketing goes with budget, but we have social media now that helps us. And we also need like forums like this, whereby we discuss and also share ideas, because individually we have different knowledges, and if we share them, we can be better tomorrow. There's platforms online that can help you to market, promote for free, and if Nagli Victor, I know about that or do researches about them, and not share them because we don't need that's that thing on its own, it blocks growth. It blocks growth and it limits art because heritage music or art culture. So firstly, we need to get together back. You know, I remember back in the days, Bra Andile Chu would do the free fears for years, and he would call us. And it was not about mine, but it was about platform. You know, so I think we need to get back to that nature so that we can create more audience for ourselves. So that when we are together, we are able to do the road shows. We did the events and stuff. When we start small, all of us, when we start small, we can be able to do our own festival, like the CEO is saying. We have PACOFS now, and I believe the PACOFS is very good at Mamati again to have rehearsals. We can discuss as for how can we arrange in terms of having rehearsals and then having month-to-month events, so that we can create a platform as the artist, jazz. You started with Zamile and Zamile alone, Yari email. So I believe by doing that, next time September we'll be ready to perform on that big stage, Samana Jazz Festival. The other thing here, music compilers and presenters. I think we should discuss how we can be together, like how can they come to the party to see more especially jazz artists as the main or the foundation, music, which it is. The compilers and the presenters, they play a big role in our lives, but it's limited. Why? Because jazz is only being played Sunday, and for a limited time. You get the jazz collectors who are only playing American music. So we need to involve them, so that they know the importance of playing our music, and also to get the knowledge. If they do play music music outside of the country, it's actually money going to those families, which is called laboring rights. So I think it will really help if we engage them, and so that we move together. The jazz artists, yes, we die purpose. Why? Because we focus only on stage and being good in our art, in our instruments and vocals, and not check the business side of the arts, and also not doing our work in terms of checking your royalties and stuff. But I believe with this forum that it's going to help a lot, because we together we can now and then discuss as for how we can help each other. So, okay. If you didn't have again. Yes. I think that's a bit. Yeah. Okay. This part is more especially looking at PACOFS, that When creativity and preparation meets readiness, it's easy to get opportunities. By getting a platform, maybe to get rooms, like we were saying, you can check maybe state theatre and stuff. Artists are always there, even Laos and Aspire. You'll find artists standing outside because they know that they might get a job from another artist. And I believe, Ori, if we can get space to rehearse more PACOFS, there can be an arrangement to say, okay, Victor, we are giving you a month, we are giving you a G24, and come end of the month, you come and play for the music instead of you paying cash. Such arrangements can be done. And if we can be given that opportunity, all of us, then it means for PACOFS will be having a program of more than a year. Wow. And also, that comes back to us to say we must help each other in such arrangements if they are made. To say, okay, Kutala, it's your turn, nice Victor, I'll come and help you in the arrangement. Because that thing, it's going to build us, guys. We don't rehearse, let's be honest. Why? Because I'm not so you don't see the importance of checking your material. But once you know there's something, then it gives you that drive to work on your own, so that when you meet with the band, you are able to, to share and put ideas on the material. So, yeah, basically, these are the things in it will black as well. So we can discuss as for how materialize. Thank you.
Thank you. Super, you are next. We'll scroll down.
Right, Tumela. Good morning. I hope everyone is doing well today. Alright, so my name is Sihle Zulu. I've got about a decade of experience in the music industry. I've got around 8 events under my name. I'm a music educator at Musicon, and I am an artist by my own right. Thank you for coming here, and thanks to PACOFS for giving us this opportunity to come and meet and to discuss important matters that pertain to music and jazz music in specificity. So, as artists, we need to know that what is the purpose of music in the community. So, if we look at our history, music played a huge role during slavery in America. It played a huge role during apartheid in South Africa. So in both cases, it brought black people together. It helped black people to thrive through those tough times. So music can also be a source of therapy and a source of healing. There's many researchers that have confirmed this. So what is the Free State Jazz community? So this community is a gateway to jazz immersion, mentorships, workshops, and vibrant jazz events within the community. All right, so our vision and mission is deeply rooted with PACOFS' vision and mission. We share the same sentiments and we share the same goals. But we just want to focus on the jazz side of things. So we want to develop artists and promote jazz and indigenous jazz and the culture of music in the Free State. And in the future, we would like to see ourselves as the icon of jazz music in South Africa. So what are the objectives of this community or this forum that we're trying to build? So we want to nurture musical talents for upcoming musicians, people who want to learn music, people who want to be on the stages. So we're going to provide them with essential skills and mentorships. We also want to equip artists with vital knowledge in music business. I think this is something that is very important, that a lot of artists are not aware of, or rather ignorant of. We need to know what goes into when you have a song out. How do you make money from that song? And we also need to know how to manage our finances, because we can have plenty of gigs and maybe you make 100,000 for the year, but you don't see where that money went into. You didn't invest in your craft, you didn't buy instruments, you didn't buy whatever that you need. So it's of vital importance for us to be aware of the financial sides of music. Branding and marketing is also important. As a musician, you will not get booked if you don't know you. You will not get booked if you are not a brand as yourself. So that's something that we need to look into also. How can you make yourself a business? How can I, as Sihle Zulu, promote myself as a business and brand myself to the community? So we also want to create platforms for the Free State artists to showcase their talents. There is many remote locations in the Free State that have so much talent, and we are not aware of it. So this forum is just going to do that, expose talent in rural areas or areas that we are not aware of that there's talent. So we also want to forge connections between institutions and organizations. So I think this is a very important fact, as that we will be trying to give job, we will be trying to give performance opportunities to our artists. So for example, say PACOFS partners with Mangaung municipality. So whenever they need entertainment services, those jobs can be funneled into this community, and we can delegate it to different artists and share it amongst ourselves. So in this, we will be creating a database to know everybody and to know what everybody does. So most importantly, we also want to rekindle the spirit of jazz. As we can all see, jazz is kind of dwindling a bit, and I think that it's high time that we bring it up. It's high time that we bring it back. All right, so I believe that as this community, we can rescue jazz in the Free States. So this is some stats of PACOFS productions that have been held this year. So this is according to the Facebook page of PACOFS. This is all the events that have been marketed on that page. I think Menabo will give us the correct figures. But basically my point here is that there is not much of musical shows in the artistic program of PACOFS. So I think that's something that we also need to address. And of the 18% of the total events that I counted on the page, there's only one event that was a jazz event, and that was the event that I did. And I'm very grateful for that, but I think those numbers can go up. We need to increase that, we need to bring back the vibes of jazz. All right, so you might be asking yourself, so how do you benefit as an artist? Why should you be here, for example? So this forum is going to connect you with your fellow jazz musicians, artists, and you make connections. So this is going to be a networking forum, because we also plan on bringing experienced people from all over the world. From Gauteng, you know that we have a lot of influential people and people with knowledge from that side. We're also going to bring in financial people to come and help us with our financial needs. So I spoke earlier about the funneling of jobs through this forum. So this is also going to be one of the benefits that you will have. You also get to elevate your skills and artistry through performance. So we also plan on having recurring events. So we don't just that will build up to a number which is express the
We have started to make a presentation and then get some deliberately put as well. So can we then get some comments? I know you have this attentively, and if people don't volunteer, I will point a hand at you. So what's your take on is it worth our while to have it, or we got any other views? Can I hear from not the presenters?
Yeah, I think it's worth a while, you know. Now, I'm now situated in Beautiful, but originally I was born here. I left many years ago, so most of my life I operated in arts, so even now, since we did, I'm of the state, if I read that the musicians from Joburg, KZN, and this weekend was the day. So most of the and then the family ground is from Gute. But coming back to this, your name is a very good initiative. So what I would like to know is if the created budget and assembly, you know, that I'm doing to the Free State, most of the time, you know, rotate in the Free State, you know. Would PACOFS be able to assist me, you know, bring the artists that, you know, the whatever
The answer is yes. That's why we are having, that's why we are having the conversation. The conversation is to say that let's partner with the artists here, and then two, let's look at the most economical way of making sure So you don't want to have a situation whereby people participate and half of those are content providers, right? Don't get much out of it. So I've always said to Victor, I'm of the view that I prefer a split. A split does say that if you are a content provider, I'll give you at least up to 90%, to 95%. Because the other one's providing the content. I'm only providing the platform. And the platform means you use the PACOFS brand, right? So if we have a deal that say is costing about 1 million, I will only ask for 5% of it.
Okay.
So if we have it already, deal.
He can tell you.
Yeah, we've got a deal, but we need to move with speed. So once you say that there's something in the bag, then when I walk out here, Monday I want to see something coming. When we talk about planning.
Okay.
Because you see, when you conclude, the next step will indicate what the next step will be.
Well, the project, what I'm doing, send it to you.
So we will have a conversation, but we'll consolidate it. So let's not lose that point. Any other takers? Yeah. Any other takers? Not the speakers. The speakers are not going to speak. It's your turn. Tell us whether are we going the right direction? Do we make sense? Or I mean, just forget this project.
No, for me, for now, I think the only thing I can say that it doesn't take very much. Some of us have been waiting for this for years. And I think now it's up to us now, how do we make this sustainable? Let it not be the first and the last mission. So. But of important, what was said here was that for music to grow as a genre or for you as an artist to grow, you need partnerships. And then I think at one stage, the people who've been in the field for so long, we are all artists, I assume. When we talk about marketing, that's not my business. You need to call people who are into marketing, tell you how to go about it. Yours is just to pay the detail. But like you said, that you don't want to die a pauper. So you need someone, an expert, who's going to market your product. I had a just discussion with the CEO now the other day. I said in some of the towns that I've traveled, you find that internationally acclaimed artists, they are not shy to do free gigs. And I know at one stage in Durban, there used to be large out concerts, where you find Zim playing for free. And then after that, you find that this youngster says, but who is this one who must play Zim? And then you say that, he's got a session this evening, can well play. And we were surprised. They'll follow. And there's nothing that stops you, the artist, to start having that discussion of flash our concert. And the issue of collaboration. It will take a long way. Like I said, I've been hearing for some time. And it's just saying that Lala and Bass. Understand? Already something came to mind. I don't think we'll be playing Bass for some time. And I can only say just looking up there's a student, I like to take the student. They have not taken my essay. But in music, you can never say that you grow. You only start to develop. So open up to be taught by those who did it before. It is true, I think I'm going to work with, not with PACOFS, but with all of you. The free state, let's not be selfish. But for now, we'll be selfish, we'll talk about Monaco. But I think the PACOFS is to develop all of us. There used a time I nearly fought with my friend that move a CD. That was the last one. So good. So I was impressed. The day we are fighting over a CD, that was the last one of the Chicanos. And it was a jazz one. I tell you, it was a perfect CD, if you remember quite well. And that's what I would love to see happening, is how we develop with this music. And the highlighted quotation here, Abdul, it's something sport. That's what music is all about. Some of us knows about it. We forgot there was apartheid. Now, Grootman and Baba Palajas, let me enjoy it. How to apartheid, just chat. That's what music is all about. And my particular jazz. Jazz has got history, like you said. When our parents, our Africans were taken to America, they always they comfort themselves with music. They found this Africans were happy. Thank you very much. That's my take for now.
Okay. Any other takers? Thank you very much for those words. Oh, now you have proposed something.
Thank you very much, and greetings to everyone. I love this movement or initiative because, well, now people have an idea on where to start and where to go if probably they have that dream or that thing to probably start doing jazz and whatnot. It's quite a great initiative. However, my main, which is my all-time concern, was the issue of finances and the tax. What tax is due to our musicians and whatever. Okay, I'll mention this because I'm in the finance institution when I'm working for an accounting firm. So I'm also inspiring jazz artists. So, but I've seen how the tax have been really hammering our people, like especially the artists and whatnot and whatever. So I think this also will be a great help to that other aspect when Mr. Sisi was talking about finances, how to manage your finance and whatever. My hope is that, but I know it will involved to say, hey, look guys, manage your finances this way, and as well the tax. Let's note it, because for some years, I don't know if I spoke to Mr. Andil about it, for some years I've been trying to come with my colleagues and trying to get the tax practitioners where I'm working to say, guys, look, how can we help musicians into paying attention to this, noting this, how can they win over this fight that is actually killing them. But I was defeated because they came to me as like, hey chief, your talented people don't have money, they can't pay us. Even if we help them with the tech stuff and whatever, they can't pay us. So I'm so happy to see this, because now when PACOFS is involved and other people are involved, it will not only be about the talent playing an instrument and whatever, but that marketing, that finance, that branding, that other things to make the brand full, they will be paid, they will be attended to. So I'm very happy, and thank you for this initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we are noting your points. Any other on this side? From the non-musician, any thoughts?
Okay, from a non-musician's perspective, I believe that such initiatives, it's very important so that we can know more about the people, because I only know of Siskutala Musihle because I worked with them once on PACOFS, but if more platforms were to be given, and coming from the marketing perspective, if we were more visible, you guys were more visible on the social media platform so that everybody can recognize you, see Honalbo Sihle, Honalbo Auskutala in the Free State. I believe such initiatives will help grow more and not just make jazz something illusory. Because I got introduced to jazz via my father. And I see one of the older generations, but there's also Takataka and younger people than me who also like jazz. So if we were to use social media to make it known that there are more younger artists out there and they need such platforms. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. At least we know where the influence comes from. Any takers? Not the speakers, the one, now speaker. Now you know the next one. Go ahead.
Dumelang bakgetsho. Leina la me ke Sipula I don't know what to call myself, whether I'm a collector or performer. But I just love jazz and I play jazz. Ke utlwile Ntate Victor a bua ka how to combine this into the collectors and the artists. But I understand it now. If you are going, I came late anyway, but how are we going to do it if this is going to be a monthly thing? Bands, the artists are there, and then the DJs are there. How are we going to do it? And my concern is in Bloemfontein, specifically, the DJs, the jazz DJs, have some people are playing the other side, some there, but we are not playing together. So, how can the events, those Bawasamika mod events in the and then people I'm there, I can play, but I'm not recognized. So that's the problem that I have now in Bloemfontein, got this jazz thing. But I just want to know if this is going to be a monthly thing, how are we going to do it? The DJs, jazz DJs, or the DJs for the particular event in the day.
Any other taker? Just leave, Leonard Frank.
Victor is bullying me to say something, and I have more questions than I want to say. But anyway, I think that critically, American music, jazz is the story of immigrants who just happen to be immigrating to America. But that's the whole point, and the presenter spoke about how the role of music during apartheid. The thing that we miss, I think, excuse me, as jazz musicians, is we want to be elite. We want to be in a separate corner. Usihla mentioned a critical thing about PACOFS events this year, which there was a few, music and fewer music events than normal, or well, for this year anyway. And I think if we keep looking at it from that, we are going to miss the point, because this thing of being elite and of being exclusive, we miss out on opportunities. We have content creators, we have guys from TVs, local TVs and all that. Who's making music for those people? Who's creating music? When a program comes, who is composing the music for them? We, at some point, we did not go through Maneng, Love, Crime in Johannesburg, and then we did Sophia Town, the musical, but the Bloemfontein adaptation. And a lot of people were not aware that we were telling the story of jazz, from Sophia Town, from, how jazz influenced Joburg as it is, with Love, Crime in Johannesburg after the democratic elections. So we need to expand and look at other opportunities, not just shows. Let's look at the education aspect. Their compositions, Olerato have said they write more than they sing. Victor has got a few people that he has composed for. We've got Unto Uchera here who has composed for Snazo. So we have a lot of people that can write, but we all want to be in the limelight. Nobody wants to compose, nobody wants to be a music director. And also Victor should share their knowledge as well about Osihle, about being music director, so that we can integrate this whole thing into especially musicals. Because once we can find that ability of working with theater practitioners, and because they can tell these stories a lot better than we do, because Tina, we want to compete with Amapiano and whatever else, Nokkom and all of those things. Let's just tell stories and let's integrate this whole thing into communities. What are our communities saying? Let's tell those stories. And once we do that, we will also remember with in the 1920s, 1930s, in America, jazz was actually popular music. So when people went to clubs, they went to listen and watch jazz. They dressed. There was a comment when the CEO put some of the definitions of jazz about how it influenced how people dressed. They dressed because jazz influenced them. So let's not be elite. Let's integrate this jazz music into what we do as a society. Thank you.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. The history of jazz has always been elitist, as we speak now. Is those timers, Themba Dlamini, ties and all that. So it has always been elitist, but you can always get out of it. If you look at the likes of Miles, when he was performing in France, you could see moving away from the elitist approach of playing jazz, where he's combining the basses with his trumpet, if you watch that show. And he plays with his back facing the audience. But he's not doing it deliberately, he's telling a story. That's what Miles was doing. But he was also moving away from the likes of the Masalas. You see, the Masalas are more classical. So as you listen to Winter Masalas and his whole family, they're more onto classical. And then your Coltrane's, your Miles, that's another group of people that took a different posture in terms of jazz. So each and every generation, right, each generation had its own approach to jazz. So, and some also, remember when you talk about distortion, it's deliberate. Rather than following run-of-the-mill type of composing jazz, you just disrupt the composition. And people say, but no, it's out of tune. No, it's not out of tune. It's part of organized noise. That's what it means. No? So again, I'm appealing to you. I mean, you raise a fundamental question. I'm also a collector. I don't play music, by the way. No. I hardly play any of this instrument, but I collect jazz. But I collect music in general, not just jazz. And the role is, how are you going to bring in those collectors? Because the collectors, one, they will sell your product. They will promote your product because they play it when they have their own sessions. Everyone comes and showcase. No, what have you collected? I've collected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know your club, but my club, the one I used to belong to, you wouldn't play the same song that we heard from the previous one. So you come with what you have collected, new stuff, and nothing. So imagine you have to play at 10 sessions in a year. So everyone is going to collect, and there was a rule. We collect, you put it there, right? 10 CDs, that was the requirement, and you play anything that you're going to play is new. So what are you doing? You're pushing people to collect music. That's the notion why you're encouraging. So there's sufficient room to deal with that issue. The nightmare that you have to overcome. Why are we moving in different directions? Why is it that everyone wants his little corner? Remember I said that. Why? What is the root cause of that? Why do you want to perform alone? Why? You see, so there's something wrong within the mind of the musicians, thinking that if I do it alone, I'll go the long way. You have to collaborate. The only way you can survive is through collaboration. That's why you need to have more jam sessions than playing alone. Because jam session is a combo. You have everyone assembling in one area and then they play. Then people come and support. But if you want to go solo, you all know the solos, right? You have to have a strong marketing element. Those who know the police, remember when Sting separated from the police, he went alone. He survived, but he didn't survive because it's Sting. He survived because he had sufficient moolah pushing, marketing his product big time, and also telling controversial stories. If you listen to Sting, it's always controversial. Anything that he says, that guy, what comes out of his mouth is highly politicized. So we want you to tell stories as musicians, right? You raise another issue around, yes, it's not just about, we've been made to believe that jazz is from America. But if you recall, during slavery, most of our people went on the other side of the ocean. And part of fighting slavery was folklore, music. So that's how they resisted fighting against slavery. And that's how they survived, right? And that's how it came, that's why you have, what is this place called, in the South, you've got a lot of things happening in the South, which is different from things happening in the North, in the States. If you go to the South, you will still hear folklore. But if you are in the North of America, you hear the elite, like Thabo Mbeki. Thabo Mbeki, if he listens to McCartney, it will be a rare thing. But give him Miles Davis, he will listen to Miles Davis. So what does that tell you? This is true, by the way. That old man likes jazz, but the jazz that he prefers to from Europe, in most cases. But if you give him a McCartney, the pianist, and I'm just giving McCartney as an example. If I mention the whole lot, we're talking about a different story. So you can't do music without being a business person. And this is what we need to find a way. The reason why we are having this forum is to say that, how do you then unlock all the opportunities? Because each and every one of you has got potential, by the way. Everyone in this room has got potential. But it's how you harmonize your potential. But if you want to go solo, you're not going to survive. You're not going to survive. So, any parting shot from your side?
I think that first of all, I just want to say thank you, Mr. Dlamini, for the opportunity. And I think this opportunity, the initiative, if we all make use of it, is going to be something good, great for all of us. What I'm saying, I used to run a club for 8 years where we just played from Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. We used to play live music. So, and then the growth from there, most of the musicians that we used to like keeping them would tell you there was such immense growth. And I think the vibe that we had, people enjoyed it. We had sort of like a house band that used to play. But the nice thing about all of it, people that used to rehearse some stuff on their own, we just come to the club and we just open the space for them. So I'm thinking if we can have that, and if we can build on something like that, it would once again be good for Bloemfontein. Because what that did then for Bloemfontein, even today, after 10 years, people are still asking, why did I close that club? Yes. Yes. But I had my reasons. But I'm thinking, all of us here can make that happen again. I mean, I think you used to be part of that setup here. There used to be that stage in PACOFS where they tried to have this thing here, and that thing used to happen every month. Yes. So I think we can move that way. I heard you said you are trying to revamp the garden, and I think sometimes people like that type of a setup. People don't always like to come to a formal setup because that informal setup makes it so easy for people to just come out. So I think if we can all just take hands and work with you and all the role players, I think we can make that thing happen again. Because I remember we had a club downstairs, upstairs, even the guys, the international guys, the national guys that used to visit and come and play at Mooks would come down to Green Lounge where we had that vibe. And they would say they did not have enough. They want to play on the stage. And so we would just open the stage for them, give the stage, we'll have a jam session. And I think if we can move that way, once again, we can have that vibe.
Ke a leboga. Ke leina la ka ke nna Sebonwang. Sebonwang. I love my Tswana name. I know ba mpitsa Gloria. Mara ke rata la Sebonwang. Okay. Excuse ntate. Will go the slide? Yes. Yes, please. Thank you. So as I'm looking at that, I'm longing for something. I don't know, maybe it's a concept or research project. I don't know. As you spoke about mentoring and giving essential skills to jazz artists, I'm thinking, what actually transpired? What happened before Nelson Mandela was released in prison? Where were those jazz artists that are probably unknown in different provinces, maybe Free State? What happened? Where were they? I don't think, okay, yes, it was apartheid, but I'm asking myself, where were they in their little corners? I don't think Noxna music, I don't think they were dead. I don't think nothing happened. I think something was there. I think if Lika Kavara things like that as well to teach young upcoming artists and really allow them to tell their stories as well. Even though it was apartheid, we were still here. Like we have Mewa Maotela Queen Skotavanchu, who just passed away, I think, last year or this year. People don't know that she's from here, you know, such people. Where were they in their little corners when that inspired that thought now? If you want to steal it, it's a concept, it's okay, take it. Yeah, it's okay. Yes. So I have another question. You also spoke about, yes, you spoke about nurturing the music talents, right? And giving essential skills and mentorship to artists. I think if you can also look at Kitlubwaka that, because those are the things I sort of identified in our community as artists, especially. We struggle with production. If you can also look into that, how do you then assist artists, more especially jazz artists, they're struggling with that. Thank you so much for the platform we're getting from PACOFS, we can now, you know, partner with you. Look at that as well, there are those that still want to record. How do you help them? As you're saying that you mentoring and giving essential skills, look into that as well. Another issue, I think it is this lawyer thing. If we can maybe also try to find out where to get commercial lawyers that can help. He spoke about something, yeah, the accountants, that is a good one. also look into the lawyer, especially that they understand the music that can assist artists in terms of drawing contracts and stuff like that, that can help. Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to make comments on the points that you have made, but before it slips my mind, no, let me make the comments, but you will be next to make the announcement. If you're in an Afrikaans house, they will say "Fadi Amar" when you hear that kind of noise. So, the next step, and I'm going to touch on each and every point that you have made. Let me start with your point. That first and foremost, this should not be the end of the conversation. That's number one. Number two, it's not about the number of people that are attending, because I don't believe in numbers, I believe in quality. And what I've picked up here, the quality of input is par excellence, right? Three is that we need to agree as colleagues in this session that if we want this to be a successful program, then we must start thinking long term, not just having an event now. So at some stage, we need to commit ourselves as a group. This is the first bite. The second bite is when the real work starts, where we then articulate, do we need a plan? If the answer is yes, how long should this plan be? 3 to 5 years? If it is 3 to 5 years, we work on it, right? What should the plan look like? The plan should look at what you have said. Did we have anything pre-1994 as jazz musicians? And the answer is yes, we did. We did. Some of them were underground. The Sophia towns of this world, you can tell stories. There's, when I was doing the literature review, there's enough data that tells you what happened pre-1994 and the struggles, okay? Which is something that should become part of the write-up of our plan. To say pre-1994, we had people, and remember, it was not just the massacre of this world. Okay, it was popularly known because he was making a lot of noise out there, right? You had the likes of Philip Tabane, right? You have the likes of Tobejan, right? You had the likes of Gwangwa, Bleku. You can go to town about how music during that time, people used to play it in their, confined areas. And the beauty about it that they could still produce a song under those extreme conditions. But the question that you raise, where is it recorded? Where is it recorded? And it is our duty here to then unearth the pre-1994, because pre-1994, jazz was there, whether we want to accept it or not, right? And then somehow, just during the transition of, getting to a new dispensation, we thought jazz has died out. No, it didn't. Some even the likes of Lififi Kladi, if you know Lififi Kladi, right? If you play one of his poems, you will be shocked where he combines poetry with jazz. You will get a shock of your life. And he's telling the story about our own conditions, difficulty, right? So people decided to go to Europe because they didn't want their music to be tampered with. The same applies with Abdullah Ibrahim. He's got 2 homes. He's got 2 homes. One is outside South Africa, one is here. Now, the reason why he kept 2 homes is because he did not want his work to be interfered with. It wasn't out of choice, okay? But some of those who did not have the luxury like Abdullah Ibrahim had to suffer here. And some died as paupers because no one cared about them. And part of this foundation, this particular community is to start saying, how do you then rescue? You itemize all the issues and then you prioritize them as a group. But what is required from all of us here is commitment. If you're not committed, as I always say to my colleagues, when you went to clean the garden, I said, if you don't want to come and clean the garden, that's fine. I'm going to clean it with my own hands. And you will catch me on the way. That's the attitude I have adopted. They know it very well. So the same approach I will take here. If you come to the party, you come to the party. If you still was thinking, oh, I think maybe I will join some other times, too late. We are gone. When you wake up, you will see Mangaun Jazz Festival taking place. Oh, I remember it was actually in that little place called the Muse. So we're not going to wait for anyone. Once people get committed and they volunteer their time, because everyone is going to play a role, including us as PACOFS. We are going to play a role. But I need you to play that role. So the pre-1994, right, will tell the story. Post-1994, we need to tell a story. What did PACOFS do post-1994? Right? So how did PACOFS as part of our decolonization? Right? What was the role of jazz in dealing with transformation and decolonization? We need to ask those questions as a group here. Not me only, but as a group. Before we start even playing the instrument, because the conceptualization of jazz is very critical. Those words that are being mentioned here, you have to first conceptualize them. You have to internalize them. That's why I was saying to her, when you play Charles Lloyd, for an example, if you're angry and you play Charles Lloyd, you're in a different world. If you're angry and you play Abdullah Ibrahim, the whole ambient changes because of the spirituality in the music. So you're mentioning a very fundamental thing that I think we need to do. 2, the collaboration, right? There's a way of kicking out self-centered interests. That's very easy to deal. If you want to go alone, you can go. I don't give a hoot. That's my attitude. You can go. I'll deal with the group that I have. And I know with that group I have, they'll stay focused and we'll move. By the time you wake up, oh, I think I had second thought, Askis. No. We always say Askis, so we won't go that way. So musicians, writers, producers, collectors, they've got an important role to play. And we need to complement each other. So they must make up you must make up your mind before we leave. Do you want to create a forum? Yes or no? If you say, no, I'm still going to think about it, it's fine, you can go and think about it. The reason why I call this conversation is that we are going to have a forum by hook or crook. I'm going to push it, unfortunately. I'm going to push it. This guy is a dictator. No, I'm not a dictator. I'm doing it for the community. You remember what I'm doing now? It's not for me. It's for the pipeline in the communities. That's what I'm doing now. We have to start somewhere. And then you'll join us. That's why I was circulating. You remember when I was asking for your names and things like that? It's not to decorate my office. You are going to be called. By the way, you are at this place. What role can you play? You say, this is my role. So everyone will have a role in this room. So that when we deal with the issue of tax, right, lawyers, we look for pro bono. That's what we are going to do. For now, we look for pro bono. Can you assist your own community? We go to the law society. So you've got musicians. Why should we now go and pay the Weber Wenzels of this world? When you have, black lawyers that can assist us. So that's the route we're going to test. But in order to get pro bono, then we need to have a public benefit organization. You have, because you see, people want tax intensive, isn't it? So you need to have a PBO in place. So those are some of the things that you're going to explore. So that's the next step. We resuscitate the clubs in that, your club. It may not be the way you designed it 10 years ago, but if push comes to shove, if there is a club, let's build on that club, but the club must be committed. Right? It should not just be a club if its main function is to sell alcohol. No. If you're going to establish a club and you're in the business of selling alcohol, then I'm not going to partner with you. No, I'm not. No, alcohol, everyone wants to have alcohol for entertainment, that's fine. But that's not the primary goal. The primary goal is to say, how do you take that club, right, that you have shut down and bring it back to life? And the reason, when you do that, what will you be doing? You'll be promoting his product, your product, everyone's product in this room. Once you do that, the collectors are going to collect your music. Now they've done away with CDs. So you have to go where? They've done away with CDs. I'm one of those people who still collect CDs. But now if I want CDs, you get limited ones, because now you have to go either to YouTube and things like that. And some of us, we like to feel the CDs. That's the problem with us. We want to feel the texture of the CD and the DVD, but they've done away with it, which is new technology. And what does it do? It's a challenge to the musicians and the audience, because it means that as from now on, you're no longer going to have to buy a CD or a DVD. You have to get it the other way. Now, here's the problem about YouTube's. Your music is on YouTube. Your music is on YouTube, right? Everyone's got access to YouTube. They record it. You don't even know. People download YouTube like nobody's business. And you don't get anything from that. Yes, it always a hamnati. You know? They have downloaded your music. You don't even see that money. You don't even know who had downloaded your music. And that's the trick about technology. So what you must do, you need to then have a way of, no one can just download your YouTube unless you pay a particular fee. Spotify, right? That's where you'll find all your music there. You go to Spotify, you can play music from Spotify the whole day for free. I mean, imagine listening to your music for free. I don't pay. All I have to do is put them on my phone and I'm done. So this is where the lawyers are coming in and say, no, but how do you protect your music? It's fine, put it on Spotify. But now Spotify has now taken the commercial part away, the one where you need to get money from. So those are the platforms that I think as a group, we need to start thinking around.
You asked a very critical question. You said what happened more PACOFS before, like pre-1994. You asked that, right? And I really want to know. The reason why I want to know is, so the other day, so I work as an archivist. So I was at work conducting research about Mpanganga music in the Free State. So I'm going through this big newspaper friend thing. We have this big newspaper, clips go everything. So I'm going through that as I do literature review. So I'm trying to get Mpanganga in the Free State. What happened? What was going on at that time? Only to find out I check more PACOFS. I see this thing, performances and stuff that happened here. Just classical things and white people using this place. And it bothered me, and please, what actually transpired pre-1994, especially in PACOFS, because if you have material like that, you can donate to archives, and people who wants to do research, they can. If you have, especially for Black people, that will assist a lot. Thank you.
So you're touching on something that I didn't want to disclose. Now you make me to disclose it. So we are 60 years old as PACOFS, right? And PACOFS had all sorts of people running PACOFS. I'm probably the 18th CEO in PACOFS. So most of them didn't last a year. They were shocked I'm still here. Most of them, they never lasted a year for whatever reasons. So, and I took a position that I'm going to make PACOFS for the community and not the other way around. And that's what I try to do. And I'm still trying to do that. That's why we have this kind of program. So we have to transform PACOFS from what it used to be. You can't change the past. We'll keep the past because it reminds us that this is where PACOFS come from. But post-1994, you want to see a different regime. You want to see when you walk in here, you want to see all these artists that have performed at PACOFS. They must see their faces. I think I talked about the fans. So part of changing the ambience of PACOFS is you are going to see most of the people that have performed here, that are in here, they're going to see themselves when you walk through our corridors. And that's the intention. And the good thing is it didn't take me too long to get that kind of support from the council. So that's the short term. The long term is to then drill deep into the historical people that were part and parcel of the cultural or performing arts of PACOFS, because that requires some research, because even if you ask any officials about who were the people that you can remember besides the Andre Huguenot, there are people, Africans in particular, who have done work, but somehow you need to resuscitate that. So that's where we are going. That's going to be long term. So maybe a year from now. But the quick win is to then have, we're going to do a call out, for example, for people to make proposals who are into the artwork and change the entire ambience. You know, that ugly entrance that you saw is going to change anyway. So maybe 3 months from now, you're going to see a new entrance. One side you will see a Black woman, one side you will see a man. So that's where we're going. But those two faces will be people from who performed here. We're not just going to be picking up any artist. No, we're going to pick up people that have performed here, who have done lots of work here. Yes, no, this is, we don't discriminate. You know, we are very non-racial in our approach. So that is PACOFS, not the politics of PACOFS. So we don't get into the politics, but we do our work as PACOFS. Because remember, part of our work is chapter 15 of the NDP, which talks about social cohesion. That's what Sinclair covered on. And if you look at his objectives that he articulated, those are some of the objectives that the group here must internalize, because we'll build on it. We'll also build on what Victor has covered in terms of what this forum should look like. And then people will make additions to it. So you are going to, and I'm glad you raised it, so we are going to start working on those things that they are in the pipeline, okay? And I think I've talked about Tababsiu, that we are going to film it. So, yeah. So Tababsiu is one of the documentaries that you're going to see it happening, but obviously we want experts in the filming industry to do that. Same applies with Hai Lapeng. There's going to be another call for Hai Lapeng, and then you see it. But he's correct. The data that he got is from our website, so no one can dispute that. That what he captured is from our website. So you can't say, no, this guy is guessing. No, no, no. We put it on our website. So the information he got is right. And what he's picked up is correct. That's why we are having this conversation. That yes, we have all other types of activities, music, and you name it. But jazz as a critical aspect is not featuring. That's why we're having the conversation. Okay. So colleagues, I need to do two things before we close. Because if I order you lunch, you can't move. Because I need to know, I'm going to have to buy you lunch. So if I buy you lunch, it means that you have to wait for the lunch while you're listening to the music. And you have to indicate your dietary requirements. So we don't want to buy you food and you're allergic to this or that. But the lady just behind you, Alice, you will indicate to her whether you want food or you don't want food. I'm just making this announcement in advance. Before we do the closing. Okay. So one is the next step. We will resuscitate the clubs that are currently running. There will be as part of the next step is to build a pipeline. Right. So the objectives that you have put on your presentation, including the vision, those objectives and the vision to become the platform in which we will build this particular forum. But maybe let me ask you want the forum? Yes or no? I'm asking, you want the forum? You want the forum? Okay. You're all in agreement, you want the forum. The next thing is you are going to volunteer. So you are not going to brag out there, nah, remember that forum. So we are going to, you see this lady is going to pester you. She's going to phone you to check what areas you want to contribute on. And then we'll segment the groups into working groups. And when you segment the groups, it will be very specific in terms of streams. There'll be a group that looks at building the pipeline. There'll be a group that looks at financial management for the artist, including tax, anything. It will also include contracting and all that. You'll be shocked. Some of the people that we contract with, they have issues. Some of them, they are not compliant with SARS and things like that. That's the challenges with our own artists, by the way. And you know what the consequences of that is? We will sometimes delay the show because somebody is not compliant. So the streams and the groups, that's the unfortunate part. But that's some of the things we need to rectify. So we are going to break you into not more than 5 working streams. And each and every stream will have a champion. So before the end of November, we'll articulate the streams, and you're not going to have a choice. I'm going to decide who's going to be the champion. The reason is very easy. If I leave it to you, it will take you a decade to just have a champion. I don't know you, so I'm going to handpick you. That's the advantage I have, right? So that's what's going to happen. The other thing that we are in the work streams, we are going to have clear cut. Somebody must formulate a concept note. I'll assist you in doing that. The concept note is how do you then revitalize jazz or the Free State jazz community? The history is there. Victor will give me the data, we'll collate it. We'll even make sure that we put it in the language that people can understand. You see, it's no use to speak this high-level English and your audience can't understand. So that's where we are going to move. Data is important. If you are sitting with data, share it with me, but make sure that there should be a non-disclosure clause when you give me the data. So whenever you share data with me, you need to put a clause that I can't share the data with anyone else. It can circulate, because if it's going to circulate amongst ourselves, you need the same provision. Because you don't want people's data to be used for other purposes, except for this. So that's the approach that we are going to take. And in the streams, we'll have the pre-1994, post-1994. And then we'll have the naming and framing of jazz musicians that once performed here. I don't know, we still have to do some homework to find that. So that's the next step. The other thing is that, some of the take-homes that I got from Victor and Sitle, once you say you want this particular forum, then we need to work towards sustaining it. Shouldn't you just, so anyone who leaves, the work must continue. So no one is indispensable. So we shouldn't have a situation where people cannot do because Themba Dlamini is not here. No. work continues whether I'm here or not. And that's the attitude we need to adopt. No one is indispensable. Right? So in order to do that, we need to look at it. And then for those that are still trying to think whether they want to come with and all that, okay, we'll give them space. But in November, we have a forum established under the auspices of PACOFS. Because if I say run and go and register, it's going to take forever. So PACOFS will take responsibility for the coordination and all that. And it's very simple, because the coordination, when you work with him or whomever, there's an entity you can relate to. Okay. Long-term planning, that will be part of us. So we are looking at Vision 2030. So that's a plan for this foundation, for this community, and post 2030. So we are not looking at just 5 years. We're looking at long-term. Where do you want to see jazz musicians? Which cohorts do you want to develop? You want more bases? There's one basis here that no one knows who plays with his left hand. This gentleman here. Have you seen the best jazzes playing this time? Have you seen one? They're very rare, by the way. Yeah. So they're very rare. You can Google the data, you'll find that there are very few basses playing with their left hand. Then the question is why? You need to ask that. Question why? Why is it that they are a rare species? So when you formulate the pipeline and you have children who are left-handed, it becomes some of the people, or you will be obviously the one who will lead the development part of it. For some of them, remember, people that are left-handed are always being looked upon differently, you know that. Because of the, I don't know, we have this view that people that are left-handed are funny people, right? So, yes. So, as I said, the next step, I think we have articulated it. We have talked about, the DJs, right? So I wanna, have you seen a DJ who's disabled? Have you seen one? You'll be shocked when I send you the video. Yeah. A disabled DJ playing, changing the controls, right? From his wheelchair. So every person is able, that's why you get shocked, because you're used to people who have 2 legs and everything, but disabled people. So even in music, you have people who have those kind of conditions. You all know Petrucciani, né? Michel. When he plays. So if you look at a person like Michel Petrucciani, the guy is basically trying to tell you that I don't have to be an able person and so forth, but I can play piano and even play it on top of a mountain. So you see, I don't play jazz. You and I were informed by our parents, listening to jazz, and that's how it goes. So disability and jazz is a very important aspect. And you do have people in that category. So that's the pipeline we want to build. We want to change the ambient completely. Okay, I think we will look at it. We have talked about elitism. So this group is not about the haves and the haves not, no. All in sundries. So I know about the big housing, the shaking and all that. No, we don't look at you from that perspective. We are looking at you as a human being. Okay? The mere fact that you stay in a big house, you're fortunate. You just have to be fortunate. But it doesn't mean that you cannot add value. So we are going to move away from this elitist approach, jazz. Going to move away from it. And we're also going to move away from just like old people. So we bring in the notion, the youth into that. And then we popularize it. When we go to Kasi to PACOFS program, we take also jazz in that particular program that I've already highlighted. So colleagues, are you ready for taking this opportunity? It's an opportunity, by the way. If you want to change lives of people, this is the only place. So I'm glad you have all agreed that you're taking this opportunity, and then I will then ask one of my officials who wants to make an earth-crushing announcement. When I say earth-crushing, one of those you cannot do without. The good thing, she's not going to perform. You know how artists are. No? Annalisa, you're on the stage.
Guy, microphone. Okay. I just want to ask everybody to go onto our websites. We are currently we've opened up for proposal submissions. So there's an application form. You'll find it on Facebook, Instagram, and on the PACOFS website. Please download the forms, complete them, and then add all the additional documents that are required so that you don't get disqualified. And please apply for programs that you'd like to see on the PACOFS stages next year.
Okay, so we are done. Any parting shots? Are you covered? Are you going to stay for lunch? What are you going to eat? Or anything? Date? Or no, Keta? Okay. I'm going to spoil you, man. Let's up. Anything.
Maybe just one more thing. I think maybe integration of local journalists will be actually crucial. I don't know. I know Express has Utebo Seten. He's not necessarily a jazz historian, but he knows a lot about the history of Mangaung. I had a chat with him. I had a song called Mangaung released, and he was telling me about all these stories of, because I was asking about where are these Mangau, where are the cheetahs? And he had a whole story, and Omolemel and all of those things. So I think if we are going to talk Ngo Ompori and all these other people who have been pushing the art of jazz, we would need those journalists who have that historic view, maybe invited into this whole forum as well, whether it's from a consultative approach or however, but I think they have a lot of information that could assist with furthering the art of jazz in the Free State.
Sorry. I arrived late, so I'm not sure if anybody touched on this point, but there's a new generation of artists, live performers in Bloemfontein. Sihle might know some of them. And I just wanted to know how we can also include them in that. I'll speak to whoever is responsible after this, so we can try to bring them on board as well. One of them is actually hosting a guitar workshop this afternoon in downtown, and they actually perform around the city on their own. They have their own collective as well, and I think adding them to this forum as well would be beneficial, not only to them, but to bring in the youth as well into jazz, because they're not your traditional jazz musicians. I think it's neo jazz, or a new concept of African jazz music. So I think the inclusion into this forum would be beneficial to the forum and to them as well. Thank you.
You're welcome, but we need a responsible person.
Yeah.
But you start something with me.
Yeah, one of them was actually here for the poetry thing that happened a few weeks ago, and he's actually one of the organizers. He's very organized. He's from Kenya, but he's been helping the other artists perform. He's the one that sets up their performances, even if he's not performing himself, but he makes sure that they have everything that they need. And he's I trust him, and I'm also there to try and assist in any way.
So, as I said, even with the colleagues that are here, once you commit, you can't pull out. You can't. because you'll ask me why. My integrity is more important. So, and I'm dissociating PACOFS from Themba Dlamini. So if you compromise me, you're compromising PACOFS and Themba Dlamini. So those are two important things. So no one's integrity wants to be compromised, isn't it? You don't want your name to be thrown all over the place because you were not doing things in order and things like that. So hence I was saying to him, once you start, we are finishing. We will struggle with time, but you can't pull out. Unfortunately, you can't. That's why I'm saying, go and mull over it, but you can't pull out. Because you have to commit your time, right? If you have issues with airtime, you let us know. Don't just say, I can't phone because I cannot airtime. No, let us know, then we'll know. If you don't talk about your challenges and we don't know, we assume that you are in the loop. So, the story about Cosa Nostra, né? When you join the mafia group, they prick you with a pin. And when the blood comes out, they say, welcome to Cosa Nostra. If you have seen The Godfather, you know what I'm talking about. So once you're in, there's no turning back. That's The Godfather. I'm not The Godfather, I'm just saying. So they are going to entertain you a bit whilst I'm organizing food for you. Yeah? And then I think there are some drinks, but let me first make sure that you get energy. So Victor, we are done. And then you can then get into your jam session. The man at the controls is there. He knows exactly what's going to happen. So I'm going to entertain you, but this is not the end of it. We have the register. So by Tuesday, you'll have a sense where we're going. Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. We'll have the split of the streams, and then if you still feel that you can add value here or there, you can still make that note, but we'll call you individual. Okay? All right, colleagues, thank you very much for coming. I have all the heavyweights in here, our own, from Bloom, from Mangahu, from here. This one here. This man. You know him? You know him? My base on that. So you're going to enjoy it. Have fun. Let me go and get you food. Thank you very much. Huh?
As Ntate was saying, Mutu Ikwechu. So we need platforms like those to keep us artists alive, to keep the entertainment, the creative sector alive. It's not about us, it's about the future that we are building for the young creatives that are coming behind us. Thank you, Ntate Dlamini. We really appreciate this. Thank you.
So yeah, the jam session has started already. Ne? So Cholu, eh? Yeah, Adikatal, ne? The drama. Everybody will follow.
Yeah.
Braneka? Okay, colleagues. Hello. Okay, here's a quick question which is very important. How are we going to operate the jam session? So I think we should not be formal. One can just start a song and then we all follow. Ne? Which one?